Hello everyone, and today I'll be reading a multi-character ex-listener. Also guys, please wish me luck and keep me in your prayers because I've been going through really bad times and I really need all the support that I can get. Kazuha didn't mean to say it. It just came out of him, like it was an accident. And then he had stared at you, all teary-eyed, and apologized. So many times, perhaps way too many, until he couldn't anymore. And that's when you stopped staring at him and looked away, telling him you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to listen to any of his apologies. Because from the way he looked at you and the way he said it, it had to be the truth. That's why you'll never believe anything else he tells you. And Kazuha nodded. He felt like he deserved it for saying such hurtful things. How could he say that he hated you when you were the love of his life? You had every single reason to call him a liar. So no wonder you did. So he'll never blame you for it. Not once. Because he knows he deserves all of it. Heizou. Heizou just was kind of mad. And all he said was that he hated everything you did and the way you made things such a big deal when they weren't. And that made you cry. And when he looked at you, you were really upset, hurt, and there was a look of betrayal on your face. And you could tell where that came from. It hurt you when you were being yourself in front of him, being vulnerable, trusting him not to. But he had just broken all of your trust and yelled at you, telling you that you hated everything you did. It wasn't true. He was just upset, mad, and things got out of hand. But that's not what his heart meant to say. However, perhaps he just needed to let you have your own time until you could apologize and at least do it properly. Albedo. If things got to that extent with him, then it means he was extremely angry. So he may just say those words and show approximately no remorse for them. And he would storm away in that moment, only to regret it later. As it dawns on him what had just happened and what he had said. Perhaps he had went too far. Perhaps he had done too much. But all he knows is that it's too late to make up for it now. And that he will have to do anything else to get back your love and your trust. So he starts slow, offering you gifts and apologetic glances. And at the end of the week, he gets down on his knees and takes your hand in his, kissing it. I'm so sorry, Wayan. I never meant to upset you like that. And I swear it on my soul. I never meant what I said back then. And it's up to you, whether you decide to forgive him or not. Venti. Venti had said those in a moment of hurt and anger. You were talking to him, and something you had said had hurt him. You had accidentally called him weak without even realizing. Not exactly in those words, though, but you were having a conversation about what happened 5 centuries ago. And that's why it kind of got emotional for him. And that's when he said, I hate when you act like that, Ryan. Like you know everything, he said. And you stare at him, frowning, a little bit hurt by what he said. Well, more than just a little bit. And that's when you just got up, shrugging. If you don't like what I'm saying, or who I am, then maybe don't talk to me in the first place. You said bitterly, storming off. And that's when Venti realized just how bad this has gone. The two of you need to talk. Really need to talk. Scaramouche. Scaramouche didn't mean it. Not explicitly. But he's kind of a hater, and I mean that as a joke. But he still has a very bitter personality, and there's a lot of rage inside of him. And that's why he was kind of out of control whenever he got angry. So when he got upset by that one certain thing that went wrong, he told you that he hated you and didn't want you around. You just stood in your place, shocked, before bursting into tears and leaving him. If he didn't want you around, then you were no longer going to stay. You were not going to stay for someone that didn't want you. And Scaramouche didn't seem like he was keen on keeping you either. But he will come and apologize and beg for your forgiveness, and it's up to you whether you grant it to him or not. Tighnari, when Tighnari's anger gets the best of him, he didn't say anything. And that means that he will not be seeing you when you're talking to him. And if anything makes him react so strongly as to say that he hates you, then he will not regret it the very moment. In fact, he'll probably be walking away from the scene, telling you that the two of you need some time to yourselves. Which you agreed with, but not in this way. Not in the way that he had told you he hated you, and that he couldn't spend another moment with you. Before sighing softly and saying those words. That hurt more than 1,000 stab wounds. And that's why you immediately ran away, telling him that you don't want to spend any other moment with him either. If he doesn't want you around, then why was he acting like he did? He didn't get it, and he kept crying to Kole, who later sided with you and talked to Tighnari. And he apologized deeply, telling her that he didn't mean any of it, and that he wants to talk to you, but finds it difficult because he knows nothing he will do or say will make up for what happened, and Kole does her best to try and get you two back together. Maybe it works, maybe not. But what I know is that Tighnari really tries. Xiao. It was a stress with karmic debt. Things have been worse for him lately, and his health was declining. Mentally. Physically not so much. But emotionally and mentally speaking, he was not doing very well. And he was hurting. A lot. That's why, when he started getting headaches, sometimes he would say things he didn't mean to. And this one time, when you had an argument, things got out of hand and he said he hated you and didn't want you around. But as soon as he said it, he stared at you, looking horrified and sorry. So apologetic. But nothing he could do or say could make him go back in time. So all he does is just say that he's sorry. And he teleports away. Later, he decides to talk to Charlie, who gives him advice and tells him to be transparent about his own issues. And then, you will know how to deal with them. And if you don't want to, then at least you will have gotten an honest answer. Instead of simply isolating himself and thinking that you don't want to help him. Which later he decides is probably the most sound thing he can do. And he's more than glad to know that you're willing to stand by his side.